3 o'clock in the morning, on my way to pick up a pinball machine on a Saturday. I got bit by the pinball bug, but I'm on the way to pick up a really nice machine that I've been wanting to have. And so I'm gonna have to get rid of one of my pinball machines to keep this one, but I'm gonna sell that when I get time. But I'm still gonna go pick this sucker up. I'm driving. I'm out in the Texas Panhandle. It's been about 3 hours. All right, guys. I just met the guy about an hour ago. We made the deal happen, and I've got a almost home use only getaway. Now there's a little bit of fading, but it actually doesn't look as bad in person. You can see the date that it was last in store, last in the arcades, 1995. The freaking playfield's looks like new, honestly. So now I gotta drive 5 hours back home and do this. Now, it's my first Williams machine, but god dang, removing the back box is the biggest pain compared to all the other ones, because I've taken apart Tata East, I've taken apart Gottlieb's. Williams is the biggest pain in the butt to get the back box off. All the way they wire everything, and then I have all the original stuff to it too, the original bill of sales and everything. So the thing is like spotless. Look at the legs. These are the original legs, and they're shiny. Look at that. This is still shiny. I mean, I can polish it up a little more and get some of the scratches out, but this is going to be a great candidate to mod and clean up even more. So that'll be fun. I'm back. What was supposed to be a 5.5 hour trip turned into 6.5, an extra hour coming back. So there's traffic, car accidents, you know, the city stuff. But it's here now. I've got to clean up here. Well, some of the stuff is just there temporarily. Like I'm trying to sell some of the signage and stuff, so I have it kind of out and about. But I have one spot left. I'm gonna put it there. I am, unfortunately, I'm thinking about getting rid of the Rescue 911, so that will be for sale. But for now, I'm gonna enjoy it until it's gone, because I can't keep it. There's no space, as you guys can see. Maybe I get rid of the Big Daddy, but that's kind of a big ticket. I don't know if I want to get rid of him too. Gotta clean this out too at some point, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and take this out. All right, so she's all back together. So now you can see how it looks, and no jokes, this is a very clean example. Very, very clean example. So I'm gonna do some LED work to it. The guy that I owned it for me, that I bought, he cleaned it up a little bit and put LEDs in it. But other than that, he didn't do much to it. But he put some colored DMDs in there in certain spots, and I'm not a fan of that personally. So these have a strange boot up sequence, but now I got used to them. Hear the beep, lets you know, hey, we're in. So one of his bulbs is bad up there. Gotta change that out. See, they're starting to flicker here and there. He put the yellows there for the car light, which is fine. He did put some reds in certain spots, I believe. Down here, he went with mostly whites, cool whites, which is what I'm a fan of. But he did go with green in certain spots to kind of mimic the trees, which I'm not a fan of. So I'm actually going to replace those here shortly. But if you notice anything else, it is kind of dark back here, which is, I think, a result of just how Williams designed this game. It's kind of dark and hidden in certain areas, but you can see the game's in very, very good shape. I can tell he didn't clean it 100%, because there's certain areas way back there hidden that aren't as clean as what can be seen. Like I can see back there behind that hole, it's kind of dirty. You can't probably won't come out good on camera. Maybe if I zoom in. There you go, where that hole is right there. It's dirty behind there, so I'm gonna clean it up even better. But the playfield, as you can see, is just an amazing, amazing shape, and it is a diamond plate, as you can see there. So the game's fully working. It doesn't have a color DVD, but I don't mind that for now. Game plays phenomenal, very fast game. So I love that. You know, it's my first Williams, and it's one of the good ones for sure. But I gotta talk about this pickup. So I listed my Rescue 911 for sale, and a guy reached out to me that, hey, I have a machine for sale. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm selling mine, but you're asking me if I want to buy another machine. I'm like, well, sure, send me a picture. So you sent me a picture of it, and it was in a storage unit for years, and the guy he got it from also had it stored for years. And so it's a 1972 or something like that, 70 something, but it's a Bally Monte Carlo. And it's very similar to the Bally Odds and Evens, I believe. It's the same playfield, but I don't remember. I think the only thing that changed is the back glass. But the back glass is in really, really good shape. And the playfield has its rough spots, but it's in really good shape too. And then what really caught my attention was that the metal, you know, side rails and the block bar were like really good shape, which is rare for these 70s games. They all tend to be rusted. But it was in really good shape, so I bought it. I got a really, really good deal on this thing. He pretty much just wanted it out of his storage unit. He just was trying to clear it out. I guess he was trying to not pay rent for that storage unit anymore, so he just like wanted it gone. These are heavy, no joke. They are very, very heavy. I had issues fitting in the car, and then the back box, you can take it off, but you can't take it out like the Williams that I just took the whole thing out, because the wiring is just all meshed in there, you know, and then there's no plugs. It's all like soldered and stuff. So it's like there's no way for me to take it off entirely unless I create my own plug for it. And so I had to basically bring down the head and push the head as far to the front as I could. That way it could clear the car properly. And it basically just fit in the car like a glove. That blue car that I have, I didn't record it, but you gotta believe me, there was no more space. It was barely touching the top of the roof. And as you go in, you know, it's just like, yeah, it's just pretty big. But we got it in here, and there's a few issues with it. I've never worked on an EM machine, but I mean, it's just a bunch of leaf switches and relays and little motor things. So it's gonna be interesting to figure out how to fix this one. Now, the guy did tell me there was a short. It would turn on, but there was a short, so I'm not even gonna plug it in yet. I did check the back box, and there was like a messed up, solenoid, which I can probably show you here. So, open it up here, and it's actually pretty clean back here, quite honestly, given the age of it. See, it's actually really good shape. But you see back there, that's a burnt, melted coil. So it's seized up and melted. It's supposed to kind of be like this one. See, it's supposed to do that. Now I was told I need to oil the rings, because that's important on this game, because all the wheels and all that stuff have to turn. So I have to figure out how to oil all that properly. So I'm gonna oil the rings, make sure there's no problem with that. But I just did a quick look at it, and everything looks to be in really good shape. All the lift springs are in the right place. Some of them look like they need a little bit of adjusting, but for the most part, everything's in its right place. I can see that leaf spring needs a little bit of adjusting. It's touching, but everything looks in the right spot. Nothing looks really bad. So this is a good candidate. If I don't know, you know, I've never done an EM machine. I never wanted to play one, like, other than a few EM machines like Gottlieb Black Hole and all those, but it might be cool to keep. I got it super cheap, so there's a possibility I might just keep this for the novelty's sake, to kind of show from how we went to this to, well, we went to solid states and then we went to DMDs. So, but I got that one. Rescue 911's gonna go at some point, and then Last Action Hero. But this game is awesome. All right, guys. So I've checked everything. Everything looks to be in the right spot. All the fuses are good. Nothing's burnt out. So I can put a coin in here and then it starts doing weird things. And I've had to learn this slowly, but here's the start button. It lights up everything properly. And then I got resetting on 1 and 2 here. These are constantly resetting. So that leads me to believe that'll lead me to believe that I need to change that solenoid, and that's why it keeps wanting to set the points for player 1 and 2, I guess, because it might be tied to that solenoid, because that's solenoid for player 2. This solenoid here is desoldered. And I've checked everything else. I've checked continuity all over the place. Everything seems to be in really good shape. So the only thing that I can think of that's wrong with this game is one bad solenoid, some wires that have gotten desoldered due to cold joints or stuff like that. That's the only one that I've seen nowhere else. But I think the game is just trying to reset itself to 0. And because it can't do that, because it's missing a solenoid for one of those, it just doesn't know where the reset is for this game. But I mean, it all lit up, everything lights up. I did change all the top lights to original lights. I could go for some clear whites if I really wanted to and try that out. We'll see. But it looks in really good shape. It does turn on and it just has a reset issue, which I think is just that bad solenoid. But that's pretty cool that I've been able to start testing this out. Well, let's see where this goes. All right, I've got mostly everything off now, so we can see the playfield and the lanes. And you see that's really clean, but back here where it's very hard to take all this stuff off, it's still dirty. So I'm gonna remove all the ramps and I'm gonna clean this up really good and just put a wax over it when I'm done. And that way this will be ready for me to put the new rubbers. So I'm gonna put all the brand new rubbers all over this thing. I'm going to clean up all of the targets here. I'm going to remove all these bracketry. And so you can see it's really dirty down there, but that'll clean up really good. And it looks like somebody spilled wax, because there's a bunch of wax over here. So I'm gonna clean off all the wax that someone spilled. You can see there's wax all right there. So clean off everything, remove the ramps, clean up, polish things that I need to polish. And then from there, I'm gonna go and throw a wax all over the playfield to make sure that this is all good to go. Replace all the flashers and bulbs and clean out everything. So this will be good. Now this is a good position right here to drop a strip of LED lights to help illuminate this back area. The supercharger is right here, so it will hide, you know, the glare of the strips. Even I got them frosted, so it will help with the glare, but it'll help illuminate all this area back here to kind of give it that extra pop back here that you don't see. Because if you look back here behind the supercharger, there's no LEDs, no lights back here, so it gets really dark. So I want to illuminate this a little better with the LED strip here. So that'll come out really good. And then I can just run the wires straight down there to connect to the one of the GI lights, and it will work out really good. But yeah, all these bulbs are no good. This is all going to be GI. These are all going to be Comet lights. I'm going to go with cool whites. Cool whites is the way to go. It'll make everything look really good. So, but just want to show what I'm doing. Those are all the parts down there that I removed, and then I put some more over here. And so it's quite a lot, honestly. It took me about an hour and a half to do it all. I say an hour and a half, but no, I'd make it 2 hours. Because I did this over 2 days. Because, you know, I have to work and stuff. But now we're in a really good position here to make this playfield clean out, be ready, put new rubbers. It's going to last for a long time. So I'm back, guys. So I've done a proper clean. Cleaned all the metal ramps here. Cleaned all the area. I went with the magic marker. I went with the magic eraser here. Just went to town on cleaning up all the little streaks, so it took off the streaks. These were right here all kind of like black. Those white lines were all black. I took most of it off with this and left it clean, so that looks really, really good now. So the entire playfield has been really cleaned up. They had a big mess over here, of wax, the liquid wax. You can see there that they made a mess. Whoever tried to clean it spilled it all over here. But I went ahead and cleaned it properly. Took off this here. I will say that Williams didn't design this area too well, in the sense that they put very weak metal here. This is very thin metal here for the side rail, and it's already broken from here, see? That's because it's very thin. I'm honestly very surprised they used very thin sheet metal here. The Gottliebs have a much thicker one that will never break, honestly. And so do the Data East are much better built as far as this. I do like the way they do everything here as far as having these screws go straight down to the bottom. On Gottliebs, a lot of them are just screwed onto the wood, which is, if you don't do it right, you run the risk of stripping the wood, and so you make a bigger mess. But on these Williams, every single post goes straight through the bottom of the playfield, which I think really secures that post. So I give them props for that. The ramps, I think, are much better designed too on the Williams. They put more bolts to secure things in place, and they actually attach them to the sidewalls too. So that works really good. As far as the total design of it, honestly, it looks very complicated, but it's a very simple design in terms of wiring, because they use those PCB boards and then they put all those lights in the bottom, so it minimizes the amount of wiring under the playfield, honestly. And there's not too much wiring in the bottom of the playfield, honestly. I'm actually shocked at the simplicity of it, wiring wise, that it's not that difficult. The only confusing part is this, the back box. My God, is that a rat's nest over there? That's really crazy. I think we would have had the best pinball machines if we had the simplicity of the Molex connectors from a Gottlieb, together with the simplicity of the playfield for the Williams, as far as how they organize it all with the PCBs and under the playfield. If they had combined together, they would have made a very easy to work on pinball machine as far as working them and all that. So I think that they each had their strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, Williams has a better pedigree for the fact that they made amazing games, and I will not deny that. The stuff they came out with in the 90s is just legendary as far as the pinball world is concerned, and I give them props for that, because they went really deep into rules and stuff like that. This game is much simpler compared to the later ones that they did, but it's also a very fast game. Like this thing, I played it for a little while, and it just like goes and goes and goes. You're not taking a break here. The shot, the Richie shot here is just amazing. Together with the RPM shot here on both sides, it just flows so well with the game. And that turbocharger, because it's in such good shape, it really gets that ball going. But as you can see, guys, this is an amazing shape now. I've cleaned up everything. I'm gonna change out all of these for the reds. I'm waiting for that to come in probably Friday or Saturday. I ordered a bunch of LEDs too. I had some spares that I've already put in there for LEDs, but I'm missing some flashers, and I'm missing all the lights for the back box. So I got to wait for that. I've got the coil solenoid for that, so I need to put that in there and test it and run that. But so far, guys, this is gonna be an amazing machine. Once the guy before me, he said he LED'd it, but he didn't go all the way through cleaning it. As you can tell, the back was in really rough shape, and they still had a lot of these bulbs up on the GI, so they did an easy partial LED kit job to it. Anything that was more difficult, removing all the supercharger and all that, this whole area was dirty. The supercharger area was all dirty. I can even show you here. Here's where they spilled all that gunk of the liquid wax. See, it's a mess. That should not be like that. So this is all gonna get cleaned out. Supercharger is gonna get cleaned out a little bit. What I like about the supercharger assembly is it's just one wire assembly that goes out to the bottom of the playfield that plugs up. Super easy. I like the modularity of it. It's an amazing thing that they've done with the modularity with a lot of things here. Like this is awesome here. They made this very modular. So I'm really happy with how they've designed some of these things on this machine. So it's looking really good, guys. And then all the other parts are down there. I've got a mess here right now, but it's an organized mess. So this will be pretty good. And I'm gonna put LEDs in the back. So I can get this game to lights up fine. I put the coil that was wrong in there, and then there's a few wires, coils were bad, so I fixed that. So it lights up everything. It's a beautiful game, but I can get a credit in there. But if I hit the start button, the stepper motor there at the bottom will just kick in, and then relay 1 and 2 for score reset constantly are just going away, tick, 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 like crazy. But the game will never actually start. So I'm gonna hit start. And that's all it does. Doesn't do anything else. And I can never get the game to boot up or load. I've checked everything. Everything looks fine, but I have no idea. I got this thing to work, guys, just right now. But I want to cover how I found out what it was. Now, I have zero experience with EM machines, but it's all leaf springs and stepper motors and stuff like that. And this machine it looks the part. It looks really, really good. Nothing looks really bad on this machine. Quite honestly, everything looks really clean given the age of it. I mean, there's a little bit of dirt here and there, but that's besides the point. But when you open it down here, look at that motor. That motor looks clean. I checked all the fuses. All the fuses were good. And besides the normal rust, and those are the chimes that are or the things that are gonna make the bells and all that. But you can see that everything under here is in amazing shape, and everything looks the way it's supposed to. No wirings are hanging out anywhere. And so I thought, you know what? There's nothing wrong with the bottom part of here. I checked all of this stuff over here, made sure there's nothing like loose or anything. Everything just looks spotless. Look at all those relays, those Bally relays. Everything's looking the part, right? So I'm like, there can't be anything here. I reached out to a guy in my area that has like 100 EM machines. So he's like, it looks like the reset, when you start the game, everything resets to 0. So it looks like that it has a hiccup with that. And sure enough, I could confirm that because my reset 1 and 2 were constantly flickering and flickering, like it wasn't in position 0. And so it was always with this one, but I looked at all of these, and when they're in position 0, all of these leaf springs are in the open position. And this one kept moving for whatever reason. And so, I mean, to me, it looked fine, but then I started moving it, and the whole leaf, this top portion here, was wiggling on these two. Now, this one was still centered, but I noticed that this one was making contact with one of the leaf springs up top, and it wasn't centered with the reel. So what I ended up doing is I realized that it wasn't tight. This wasn't tight at all, and it was wiggling. So all I did was tighten it down, make sure it was center, and turned it on, and now the thing works like it should. Pretty much tells the game, hey, we're set to 0. So if you want to see everything light up, you just hit the button. Everything lights up there. And I think maybe a few bulbs might be out, but I'll fix that at a later time. You hit the start button. Set. Where's the ball? Oh, it's missing the ball. That's right. Because it doesn't know where the ball is, it won't reset all the way. So I gotta fix that 0, so it's resetting, because it's not resetting at the right position. But now it's the game. it's now ball 2. And then ball in play, I think those bulbs are bad, so it lights up the bulb. But the whole thing now works. So we are good. This game is fully working. All right, I'm back. It's been a few days. I fixed that machine. I haven't cleaned it, but I fixed it. And all my parts came in from Titan Pinball for the rubbers and the new star posts. And so Comet stuff came in first, even though it was further out, but whatever. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace some of the foam for the targets. I've cleaned out most of them. I've put all the red rubbers that I want to put in for this thing. I've putting in the lit star posts for some locations. I've lit up the slings, so both of the slings are lit up. And then I'm lining up a few of the posts here in the front. In the back, it doesn't really have any star posts. It only has one here, but I can't put it there because it will get in the way of this one. So I can't light it properly. I could put it off to the side, but the ball can hit it. I could have tried to light that one up, but it's going to interfere with that right here, so it won't work. And plus, you can't even see it. But I've gone ahead and put in my back, my LED strip up back here and one back here. This is going to light up the back end a little better. So regardless, that's my solution to light up this dark back area a little better. And then all the star posts and everything's clean and good to go. And so now it's time to do the full assembly now and actually make this look like a pinball machine and play it later tonight. But that's what I've decided to do. I've cleaned this out as best I can. And quite honestly, the playfield's in immaculate condition. I've done all the LEDs for the top part, and I've done all the LEDs for the back box. So that's all it's gonna go. So I've gone with cool whites everywhere, and then I went with some reds on the side here, one red in the middle and 2 blues in here to kind of mimic the, you know, it's the police you're trying to escape. So that'll be good there. So the back box is now gonna look very, very good. I've decided to leave these in there because they're already reds. No big deal, just for the pop bumpers. I'm not gonna put in my my cool whites in there because it's already red. Looks good. Maybe later on down the road I might change the caps to clear caps with red. That might look even better. Or I might do the little ring LEDs that you see a lot from Comet Pinball. So I might go that route. But that's an easy swap because you can reach those tops very easy even if everything's assembled. But as far as everything else is concerned, I'm probably gonna, I'm gonna get an extra spare set of red flipper bats because the bats that I got originally, they weren't good and they failed. So I might get another batch of reds that were on my Mother Brothers to put on this one too, to light up the flipper bats if I want to do that. I'm not sure yet if I'll do it, but regardless, this is going along really, really clean. And that's gonna be really, really clean too down the road, but at least it's playable now. I have some guests coming over later today, so I'm trying to finish this up as much as possible before my guests come over. But regardless, these are all the pieces that I still gotta work on. Let's see it look good. What's going on, guys? So this Monte Carlo that I've already got up and running is already leaving. I couldn't keep it, there's no space for it, so out it had to go, but I figured I'd cover it before I leave because really make a bad habit of recording stuff. I picked up a bunch of electronics that I'm selling. I got a PlayStation 5 and I sold that already, and now I'm showing off all this extra stuff that I picked up. But there's my getaway, nice and cool. But I have a guy coming out about an hour from here picking this sucker up. It's already ready to go. You just hit the start button. Oh, there it is. And it just plays like it should. Yeah. So, yeah, this thing is awesome. So, old school, works and plays amazing. So, figured I'd show it before it's out of here because I'm not gonna have it to show it. I'm playing with one hand here. but it's pretty cool. And the ball goes in, and it's ready to go. Now player 2 can play, and it works. So fully working. All right, guys, figured I'd show you this. I've played it quite a while now. Plays amazing. It's dialed in really good. Plays very fast and very hard, quite honestly. The ball's always flying everywhere. So I've moved the blue strip under, and I've moved the black strip kind of back, the red strip over here behind there, so that lights up better. And it serves as a type of heat sink, honestly. It's all metal there, but it kind of lights up red over here, lights up the area underneath where the car goes over here better, so that people could see where they're going or where the ball is traveling back there. So it looks much cleaner, as you can see there. And then I've lit the entire area here, the slings and some of the posts over there, so it makes it really bright. It looks brighter in camera, but honestly in person it looks just right. There's the stop lights. Everything is looking really dialed in. Changed all the target foam here, the foam for the targets. So that's all, because they were all looking kind of dark and they don't look right. So this thing is all set to go, as you guys can see, and it looks really clean. I've vacuumed up the little dirt and dust that comes up here after playing for a little while, so I'd say this is really clean example of this game. I'm still going to get some cliffy protectors for some of the wear areas that are very common on this game. Maybe later on down the road I might clear this. I mean, it has clear already, but I want to further protect this because this is a game I'm not going to be getting rid of. I'm going to be doing further mods and a bunch more other things to this game. So this is gonna be a keeper for quite a long time, for many years to go. I mean, it's a Williams. It's one of the fastest, brutal games, honestly, in this. There's a lot of really, the roundabout shots here, and then the Richie shot there is really fun to do for the combo. And then down here, these these outlanes are brutal. This is a lot. There's no forgiveness on either outlane. It's very similar to my Gottlieb Rescue 9-1 for the same thing. Those outlanes have no. This one does have a little bit of protection, but the other one has nothing, and it just drains. And it's very hard to make it bounce and try to make a recover there. So this game is brutal for those outlanes, being able to avoid them going out there. Sometimes the ball just goes fast, and you don't know when to nudge the machine and make it work, and it's very difficult. But man, this game turned out beautiful. This thing looks spotless, looks amazing. I still got to do a lot of mods to it down the road. So here in this section here is a good section to put a police car. So I'm gonna go buy a die-cast police car here, and then actually put the lights for it here. And I'll probably tie it to a 12-volt flasher so it can flash up whenever the red light comes on, stuff like that. Then the mountain mod that goes right here is very common, so I might do that. And the donut shop goes here, I believe right over this. And then here, they've designed decals to make it look like the street here. And you can put a car there as well. But that hides some of the area here, so it makes it a little bit difficult to see the shot coming in. So that might be something I might or might not do, but as a standard game with LEDs all throughout, this thing looks amazing.